to Oraba, a town at the border of Uganda, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, following a lead on the illegal lumbering and trade of timber from Ye River State, which borders Uganda. Teak is one of the most expensive kinds of hardwood in the world. It is in short supply. South Sudanese teak is part of the top-end strains of teak that can be found in this region. Market prices for a board foot of teak, which is about 1 meter long and half a meter wide, cost between $7 or 700 Kenya shillings for the lowest quality teak to $10 or 1,000 Kenyan shillings for high quality teak. Hundreds of shillings higher than locally sourced teak because of its quality and difficulty to obtain. The lumbering of teak is highly restricted across the world, and there are very few natural teak forests left anywhere in the world. South Sudan has some of the oldest natural teak forests in Africa. Leads tell us that a senior member of the SPLA-IO plays a major part in that trade, and we're headed to meet an army officer from Uganda's army with knowledge of the border trade. The officer is part of a team that patrols the border, monitoring what goes in and out of Uganda.
All right. Wish me luck, eh? So what happened?
The government of South Sudan have started complaining that we're not helping them. That maybe we're part of this business that is Uganda. We're conniving with the IO to plunder their resources, which fact we may not deny because they're passing through Uganda, although they do not end up in Uganda.
Where do they go?
Australia goes up to India, Vietnam. Teak and Australia goes as far as India.
How about mahogany?
Mahogany, some of it ends up in Uganda, others in Kenya. But the teak and Australia, because they come as logs, they go to India, Thailand, and Vietnam. What we hear is that there's a Kenyan who is based somewhere in Koboko, who is the manager.
A Kenyan?
He's based in Koboko. He's like the manager. That Kenyan is conniving with the governor of IO for Ye River State.
What, do you know his name?
He's called Frank Matata.
Frank Matata.
He's based in Kampala. He's the governor. He's South Sudanese. He's the governor for IO.
And the Kenyan?
The Kenyan's name is Obiero. He's the manager of a company. He coordinates with Matata. All the payments are made to him, to Matata. Obiero is just the manager of a company that does cutting and so on.
Matata is the SPLA-IO governor of Ye River State, which the rebels have by and large controlled since the outbreak of conflict in 2013. I want to know what his role is in the illegal trade of timber and whether he personally benefits from this trade. To do this, I pose as a Kenyan businessman running a wood outfitting and furniture company looking for a big order to fill.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. Matata.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I was saying my name is John Kiarie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the co-owner of a company called Out of the Woodwork. We're a high-end hardwood furnishings company that we're about to set up in Nairobi. I got your contact from a colleague of mine. The reason that I'm calling is that I was hoping that I could meet with you regarding a business opportunity that I'm hoping that we can transact together.
Okay, maybe what we do, I will be in Kampala probably on the 21st. That will be what?
21st is Saturday.
Yeah, I think I'll be in Kampala on Saturday.
Yeah.
Let's link up in Kampala, then we see how to do it. I mean, how to go about it, yeah.
Thank you very much. That's fine with me. All right, so I'll give you a call on Saturday. Thank you very much for calling back, Mr. Matata. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Let's meet in Kampala. Bye.
Okay, bye.
I get connected to SPLA-IO spokesman Gabriel Lam, a close confidant of the generals, and organize to meet him in Kampala.
Gabriel. Hi. Fine, fine. Pleasure to meet you. All right. So, sorry for keeping you. I was going to buy a hat this heat. You know, Nairobi is so cold. And this is the only hat that I could find.
Okay.
Now I look like a Congolese musician.
No problem. We have tea enough in one of our own area. That's Kejiko.
Kejiko.
Just close to here.
Yes.
But it's more closer and entry inside to Kejiko you best via the Congo. You will have to go from here to Koboko, enter inside South Sudan, go to Bokolo, then goes via Congo.
Yeah.
You enter inside now.
Very quickly, he confirms that they have what I'm looking for and are willing to go into a forest that hasn't been touched since 2005 to get more teak. I inquire about whether General Matata has done this before and also ask how they would get illegally logged wood across the border. The Ugandan army officer I had met claimed that senior officers from the Ugandan army were involved in the trade. Gabriel opens up further.
There are some generals along the border. The general in charge of the CMI.
At the time of our conversation, the SPLA in opposition and the government were close to signing a peace agreement. I wanted to know whether they'd be able to guarantee my supply of timber if the agreement fell through.
I want your guarantee that if there is no peace, we'll still be able to do this.
We will still do this.
After this, we agreed that I would wait to meet General Matata for a final agreement, but that in the meantime, he would broker a meeting between myself and other allies of General Matata in the business. A day later, Gabriel takes me to the depot where most of the teak, mahogany and ophalia are brought to for onward shipment to Kenya and other parts of the world. Some of the timber you see here comes from South Sudan.
How much of this is from your territory? Sorry? Of it comes from your territory?
From our area.
From your area? No, I'm talking about the areas under your control.
It's not clear how much of it is illegally logged, and the managers of the depot would have no way of knowing for sure if it was logged illegally. Gabriel, though, is confident that our timber will get here safely. A day later, he introduces me to two gentlemen, one of whom is Francis Dabe, a former member of parliament from Kajokeji, a constituency in the governor's state.
Hey, how are you? Good, good. Not bad.
You got a good cap today.
Yes, I did. Karibu Kitty. How are you? Sorry, nice to meet you. Hi. Sorry, gentlemen, you can sit down over here.
Over a meal which I buy them, Dabe dominates the conversation.
You were a minister?
That was by then, but no, you know, we're here.
No, but I mean, you were a minister in the Kir government.
Yeah, by then, that was 2015.
What ministry?
Culture, Youth and Sports.
Wow.
For a state.
For the state?
What do you call accounting?
Okay, so like the state ministry. Okay.
When South Sudan's Juba government realized that rebels were logging illegally to presumably fund their war, Juba complained to Uganda, and Uganda in turn tightened border security. Dabe explains to me how timber illegally felled in South Sudan is still able to make it across the border and who is involved.
In the past, as I said when we discussed, we used it for our goal.
Yes.
But because of the relationship between Museveni here and the president, he came with the rules that there are some logs that are coming from the opposition territory, which is not supposed to be genuine. So they are not supposed to recognize that. So they started impounding those logs. So what we did was recruit our people also into the Sudan government so that they're able to get for us those documents.
Okay.
Then we serve also our people who come to us.
We pay this man for them.
Pay the man for them.
Yes.
Okay. Now I get you. Now I get you.
Get me there.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going on. So yes.
The moment you don't come with these documents,
Yeah.
the National Police Authority of Uganda will take these goods.
We'll impound them.
Okay.
Okay.
So now, what we do is we get authentic documents of the government of South Sudan.
Yes.
And we pay them the money. And then we come to the other side, they seal also. The side of Uganda, they serve us with the documents. Once they have seen the witness of the documents, then they seal, we travel.
And you travel.
We travel.
Okay.
And then what we also do is, East Africa. Your brother is your pocket.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Afande, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Kampala. Okay. Thank you. Travel well.
Yes.
And you create a rapport between you.
Yes.
And the security officers of the region around.
What do those customs documents
As I claim that I'm looking to import 20 trucks of teak, I once again talk about security, at which point Gabriel jumps in, making clear the divide between the business of teak and the security oversight that the governor plays in the business. Once again, he claims that in Uganda, protection is just a phone call away.
Yeah.
When it comes to security,
he doesn't. Okay. All right. So
here we have people that guarantees things. One, someone who was directly in the office of the president. That one, no matter what happened, we just an order on phone, they can just come straight.
And he's from the OP, the Office of the President. Okay. Anybody else?
We have one who is in charge of the counter-terrorists. These guys who put on black. He is a major, and he is in charge of the airport. That one. So any phone call from him, everything comes from that.
Okay.
Any place where these things.
Okay.
This bad.
All right. So we get guarantees there. So is that now where, because the governor, I assume, is more security focused than is that where now?
Side,
Yeah.
we have from the border side completely there is that region we call the RISO, the regional security officer. That one and the director for CMIs.
We calculate that one truck of teak will cost me $4,500 or 450,000 Kenyan shillings to get into Uganda. As we're about to conclude, Dabe and Gabriel interject with a series of questions that tells me that there is a benefit to them and perhaps to General Matata as well.
Yeah, we're discussing this. And we are discussing this the prices on the ground. Not the prices in Kampala.
Yeah.
How do you see our appreciation? This is what I mean. I think this is the last bit of the discussion.
Yes, which is the most important.
Yeah, let's first deal with this.
Okay.
To give us better wisdom.
So on top of the 4-5, can you add one to become
5-5. Okay. Per truck, eh?
Yeah, that's one.
That's it.
Given that I'm supposed to add $1,000 to the price of every truck as a bribe which will be delivered to General Matata, based on this discussion, for my 20 trucks, I am to give the General $20,000 or 2 million shillings for my trucks.
Are you traveling back today?
I think maybe tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, eh?
Because I'm so tired.
Yes. Okay.
Traveling back again.
Hey, yeah, that would be hard. Yeah.
As they leave, we agree that to finalize things, a meeting with Matata himself will be necessary.
All right, keep well, eh? All right, cheers.
After a week of waiting, I finally get the call that he will be in town and we organize to meet again in Kampala. Our first meeting is a 1-hour conversation in which I'm only able to record his voice. But in this meeting, he confirms everything that Gabriel has been telling me. They leave for another meeting, but I want the general to confirm yet again what his role would be. I place a call to Gabriel, who directs me to another hotel in Kampala, where they are. Before long, Matata steps out to meet me.
Hey, boss.
Yes, sir.
Hi. No, I spoke briefly with my partner, and there are one or two things that we just needed to resolve.
I'll speak to someone.
We can stand under the shade. Okay. Yeah. So there are one or two things that we needed to resolve. We're already essentially, but those two questions that we have. The teak, the one that you had wanted to give us, how much is it? How many containers do you think it will be able to?
Nothing is big. Nothing, because the heaps are like, they keep them. I think one heap can take like maybe 2 containers.
Yeah.
And the ones I saw, these big trucks, with the pulling.
Yes.
I think the ones I saw along the road, I think they are like 7. One heap. Then the heap can be one heap like from here up to that building, up like this. So this can take like 2.
Okay, so 2 containers, eh?
2 containers.
At least
like,
to start with.
And they are like 7 heaps.
Okay.
These are just towers, almost like this.
Yeah.
And they are big. It can be like this size.
Okay.
Most of them are big.
Yeah.
There are those that are of that size of these, they call them palm tree.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them are that size.
Okay.
Some of them are much bigger than that.
All right.
Yes.
So we're talking.
Matata then confirms that there has been fighting between his forces and the SPLA over the same teak.
Enough to be able to even bring 20 trucks or so.
Okay.
What actually pulled me to send the force to drive this guy from there was because the guys were doing massive, lumbering there.
Yeah.
Which attracted our attention.
Yes.
But the communities there were not getting.
And of course it's your area.
Because it's our area. Yeah. We want those things to be done in a responsible way so that we can get money to offer services to these people. Yes. Okay.
Then we get into the bribe. In our earlier meeting, Matata said that he would require $30,000 or 3 million shillings, up from the 2 million that Dabe had talked about in our earlier meeting days before. This was allegedly to bribe some 3 senior Ugandan officials for the wood to cross into Uganda. I asked him to lay this out again, claiming that 30,000 may be too much for me to handle at one go. He agrees.
35,000 might be initially a bit on the higher side, but we still want to do this. How much can we kind of think of that's sort of like a go-between, so that we're able to...
What do you plan? Because what I wanted from you is like the way I told you earlier on. When you have something sizable, meaningful, that I can go with to these fellas, and set them up for some time. Okay? Human being is complex. He will not refuse what you have offered him. But having sorts like this also, you cannot go with the 5,000. They are going to see these trucks.
I then ask him about exactly who the bribe would go to, and he is very clear.
I said a police guy, regional police commander, regional internal security officer, and then the regional recipients of military intelligence officer. Those 3 are very important. Because they are the ones who control the area there.
In West Nile?
Yes, you can deal with these guys here, but they can block you at the border. So
a third confirmation that senior Ugandan police, intelligence and army officers from the West Nile region may be involved in the trade of illegally logged timber from South Sudan. At the time of this negotiation, the regional police commander of West Nile was Jonathan Muzinguzi. Emmanuel Mugisha was the regional internal security officer. Just 3 days after our conversation with Matata, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni suspended Muzinguzi and fired Mugisha over their handling of protests after a parliamentary by-election in Arua, northern Uganda. I wrote to Uganda's police spokesman, Emilian Kayima, for a response from the force about the alleged involvement of these officers. He has yet to respond, in spite of saying that he would.
So something sizable would still be in the region of maybe 30,000 still?
Possibly. But that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
My problem here is, these people are used to money. They are like Hebrews also.
third confirmation that senior Ugandan police, intelligence and army officers from the West Nile region may be involved in the trade of illegally logged timber. We negotiate a little more, then he gives me his final offer.
You know, 28, I think. 28, yeah, I think at least. Let me go and tell them about the two that
this
will something as time goes.
Okay, yes, all right.
And here, you find a way of the transaction here.
Would I be able to read the like Western Union or what will be the
Western Union will not release that money from dollars.
Bank transfer.
Bank transfer, I don't have a dollar account.
Oh, okay, so then how do you do this? How do you do this?
Maybe you can use Somalis.
Or I do Hawala.
Yes.
What is it called?
There's one called Dahabsil.
Dahabsil. Yes.
What's the other name?
Okay, I know Dahabsil. Dahabsil, there are many in Nairobi.
Yeah, Dahabsil can do.
Okay.
And Amal can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those ones can do. But you want me to go to them also? No problem.
Yeah, but you see, that's what I was telling you. Just tell me. Just tell me, and then now I know.
No, for me, you know, I don't tap onto something.
Don't be humble. Just say.
I just don't tap onto something. It is you to see through your goodwill if what I will be doing to you is okay with you.
Yeah.
How you will appreciate me should come from the bottom of your heart.
Okay.
Because if I want to tell you that give me this, I will be conditioning you.
Yes, yes.
I don't get that.
All right.
I don't do that. It should come from the bottom of your heart.
Yes.
See that what I'm doing to you is good, and you will facilitate me and I appreciate just like that. It should come from you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Manapal. So now I'll talk and then now, so I'll send it directly to you, right?
You can send to me or you can send to maybe Lam.
To Lam, eh? Lam is the only one here.
Lam can handle that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Lam can handle that, but if I'm still around, because sometimes I may go towards the west.
Okay.
Yeah, but you just translate, no problem.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. All right. Have a good one.
But you call me first.
I'll call you first.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Santi.
Thank you.
His play at humility in saying that he will accept whatever I give him gives me the impression that, as an SPLA in opposition general, he is starved for cash. Throughout my time with these men, they've been insisting that they are coordinating the sale of illegally logged wood to help their community. But given the amounts they're asking for, it seems unlikely that the benefit of this business would go to the community alone. I wrote to Matata, Lam and Dabe revealing who I am, that I secretly recorded our conversations, and asked them to respond to the evidence I had gathered about their roles in the illegal hardwood trade. Both Matata and Lam responded, claiming that I may be an impersonator working for their enemies. Matata went further to claim that my transcription of our conversation had twisted his statements and was full of lies. Dabe Francis did not respond.
When you have something sizable, meaningful.
Many of the residents of Kampala who use this route every day on their commute home probably wouldn't notice, but lying right in front of them in plain sight in this abandoned container depot is evidence of theft from South Sudan to fund a war effort that's been raging now for 5 years, specifically by the SPLA in opposition. In SPLA in opposition occupied areas, they cut down millions of trees of mahogany and teak and sell them on, some going as far as India. And of course, war is good for business, meaning that there would be some Ugandan middlemen who are benefiting on this side of the border. But if you think that the SPLA in opposition is benefiting from this war, get a load of the government.
Extensive interviews conducted with numerous people by the Sentry confirm that this waterfront home, under construction on the shores of Lake Babugaya in Bishoftu, Ethiopia, belongs to Salva Kiir. This is the first time the public gets to see these photographs. In Nairobi, I met with a security officer from one of Kenya's armed forces. Between 2012 and 2016, he protected Salva Kiir's family. Every time Kiir came into town, he noticed something peculiar about the luggage of his entourage.
They used to carry bags of cash. They carried mostly euros and dollars. We would be sent to protect some of the people in his group who would carry it. It was a lot.
I wrote to President Kiir's official press secretary, Atenuwek, seeking a response to these and other claims made. By the time of the airing of this documentary, his office had not responded to our questions.
It is also natural of a phenomenon like this when the country is at the capture of cartels and a group of people who do not have a clear vision of the country. There is no any other outcome you would expect from their exercise of power other than plundering the resources, looting, oppressing the people, narrowing the space of participation.
President Kiir himself has admitted to the theft of billions of dollars from South Sudan. But people like Dr. Majak Dagot, a former minister in his government, would not believe him. In September 2018, just weeks after I had concluded my investigation, South Sudan's warring parties signed a peace deal. Salva Kiir and Riek Machar would again work together as president and vice president, but this time with 3 other vice presidents and an expanded government and legislature of over 450 people, one of the largest in Africa. The same people who led South Sudan back into war were back in charge. But where does this leave the common people?
We are crying. This song is like a crying song. We sing this song so that our brother Salva can really think of us.
There are incredible odds against this. Not only has there not been reconciliation on the ground, but the profiteers in the region haven't been held to account. Expensive homes still stand. War criminals still roam freely. But like Joseph, Rose, and the many South Sudanese men, women, and children that I have met, I also hold out hope that this peace will last this time, and that a fellow African nation will become a land of prosperity, not for profiteers, but for its people.